Karen's obsession had shifted focus yet again, this time targeting my expectant spouse. One afternoon, she arrived unannounced near our property, insisting that my spouse surrender credentials, identification, access codes, and personal documentation, simply because she had experienced discomfort nearby. The audacity of her demand was staggering. It wasn't about community rules anymore. It was about her own inflated sense of entitlement and control. When she confronted my spouse, I was already present, observing calmly. Karen's voice was sharp, almost theatrical, as she insisted that compliance was mandatory. My spouse, however, stood firm. She refused to surrender anything, citing legal rights, privacy laws, and her own authority. Karen, oblivious to the legal implications of her request, grew increasingly frustrated. She had assumed that intimidation and moral posturing would compel submission, but this encounter was unlike her previous confrontations. Seeing Karen escalate, I stepped forward, ensuring my presence was unmistakable. "No one," I said calmly, "has the right to demand private credentials from a lawfully protected individual, regardless of HOA claims or perceived discomfort. Your request is not only inappropriate, it is illegal." Her eyes widened as she realized that her typical tactics, shouting, coercion, and calling emergency services, would no longer work against a family united and prepared. True to form, Karen dialed emergency services, attempting to frame the situation as an urgent threat. But I had anticipated this move. I had already coordinated with local authorities, providing full documentation of my spouse's rights and our property boundaries. When the responders arrived, they quickly assessed the situation. Karen's claims were dismissed immediately, her accusations revealed as baseless attempts to intimidate and control. Karen's frustration was palpable. She had been accustomed to people complying out of fear or confusion, yet here she faced two prepared, authoritative figures who refused to bend. I calmly explained the situation to the officers. My spouse was fully within her rights to refuse. Karen's demand was coercive, and any further attempts could constitute harassment. The officers noted everything, ensuring the HOA members' interference was formally documented. The incident was revealing in several ways. First, it underscored Karen's lack of understanding of legal boundaries. She assumed her discomfort justified her demands, not realizing that entitlement has limits under the law. Second, it demonstrated the importance of preparation. By anticipating her actions, we were able to maintain composure and ensure that the situation remained under control. And finally, it highlighted the strength of unity. My spouse and I, acting together, had neutralized an aggressive attempt to violate privacy and property rights. By evening, Karen had retreated, muttering complaints, while my spouse and I remained calm, documenting the event for any potential escalation. The neighborhood, which had witnessed previous HOA conflicts, began to see a consistent pattern. Karen's attempts to assert authority were failing, not because she lacked energy or influence, but because they were predictable and legally unsound. As I watched my spouse tending to preparations for the upcoming arrival of our child, I realized how critical it was to safeguard both family and property. Karen's behavior had moved from general coercion to targeting personal rights, yet careful planning, calm decisiveness, and legal knowledge ensured we remained in control. The pond, the lodge, and our personal lives were all secure, and Karen's repeated failures only reinforced the lesson. Entitlement alone does not create authority. The day ended quietly, but with a profound sense of clarity. Karen had attempted to assert power over my spouse, a deeply personal invasion, and had been thwarted decisively. Our preparedness, unity, and documentation ensured that no amount of HOA overreach or moral posturing could succeed. Karen would continue to push, no doubt, but every attempt now carried the risk of legal and social consequences she could not manage. In this ongoing saga, knowledge, patience, and authority had firmly established the rules, and Karen had no choice but to navigate within them, however reluctantly.